Welcome to Renegade Con, the stream of darkness, where we talk about current and upcoming information for the world of darkness, tabletop role-playing game, and the Rivals card game, and maybe a few other things as well, if you're very, very good and very, very lucky, chat. My name is Jason Carl. I'm the brand marketing manager for the World of Darkness. That's a brand under Paradox Interactive in Stockholm, Sweden. And my co-host today, and who will be doing most of the reveal talking, is Kevin Schluter. Kevin, who are you and what do you do at Renegade?
Well, hello, Jason, and hello, World of Darkness. My name is Kevin. I am the producer for role-playing games here at Renegade Game Studios. That means I'm sort of in charge of getting our products off the ground and providing our developers and writers, artists, get everyone the tools they need to be successful at getting us some products.
So that means you work with a number of freelance writers, freelance editors, artists, graphic designers, including our World of Darkness brand team back in Stockholm. Can you tell us very briefly a little bit about that part of your job?
Yeah, it's that's kind of the madness of taking all the information from each separate group, trying to make sure that people turn over their work on time, and that it moves on to the next steps of everything. One little problem, and we've got delays that can spiral. So
that would never happen,
Kevin. Yeah, never happened. Never happened.
That would never happen. No. Some mistake.
So
there must be some mistake.
Clearly, yeah. Well, we can edit this, right?
I'm not sure, really. Be that as it may, could you give us some idea of what we're going to be talking about together today?
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about some upcoming releases for Vampire the Masquerade, for Hunter the Reckoning. We're going to talk a little bit then about the Rivals card game. And after that, I think we're sneaking in some Werewolf The Apocalypse previews. This could include, will probably, barring emergencies. We're gonna show you a character sheet and how that gets filled out. So probably be able to suss out some of the rules from that.
Are you saying that we're going to be showing a Werewolf The Apocalypse 5th edition tabletop role-playing
yes.
character sheet?
In fact, it is a Werewolf The Apocalypse 5th edition role-playing game character sheet.
Excellent. Oh, everybody stick around for that preview. That's going to be a lot of fun. And maybe that gives us some sort of basics on character creation, right? A hint of what will be in the full book.
Yeah, I think once you see what's on the character sheet, you'll probably be able to suss out most of the different options that you're gonna have. There's been quite a few previews, and if you're familiar with Hunter or Vampire or previous editions of the Werewolf game, you'll probably have a reasonable idea of everything that's included in this version.
Well, you bring up a good point. We've done, we've done a lot of reveals so far. But before we get into that, are you okay to talk about some of the releases that are very current or upcoming?
Yeah. We have Vampire Player's Guide. That one is the physical release should be landing. I think it's August right now.
I think you're right, but I think for the Vampire the Masquerade Player's Guide, I think the audience that's pre-ordered have already got their PDF copies. So
yeah,
talking about the physical release, the actual book.
Yep, the physical book that you can bring to your table. That's going to give you the sort of compiled some previously already published material, so that you'll be able to portray your Hekata, Ministry, Sombra, Ravnos vampires, and some compiled powers, but also some new ones if you were unhappy with the number of options that Presence has, for example. Got some extra things there, or Animalism got quite a bit of an upgrade.
I think my favorite part of that book is actually the alternative clan Banes.
Yes, that actually came up in the Vampire Chronicle I'm running, that we are going to switch the Hekata to their alternate clan Bane.
The Bane of Decay, the Addams Family Bane, really.
Yeah, we had to have a discussion because it kind of affects the Coteries Haven. So we'll see how that goes for everyone.
And the expected release date of the physical book is in August. Is that right?
Yes, that is what should be happening.
Fantastic. Do you think that our family who's at Gen Con might be able to score a copy of it there? Yes, no, possibly, if the dark stars align?
I have no knowledge of that. I'm gonna have to have an Eyes or Jordan fill the community in afterwards.
That's a good question to ask the Renegade Coterie for later. Well, in addition to the player's guide, what else is cooking?
Yeah, we are cooking up some blood sigils. Um,
That sounds
I
ominous.
right. So we had already sort of discussed this a little bit last time at
Yeah.
Renegade Con, and folks can go ahead and find that stream for some more details. Um, this one, I think, trying to think, I'm staring at a blank where a release date should be. I'm pretty sure I'm going to see the final layout. I was going to say tomorrow, next week. So this one should also be coming up very soon here for folks. Um, Obviously, this one is going to cover the major disciplines, Thin Blood Alchemy and Blood Sorcery, and present those with a sort of different story than we've seen presented before in Vampire. That there's sort of an entire blood magic scene where people might have a lot of fun running around trying to find forgotten information, discover some new formulas that they can trade for, worldly gains.
I think what I'm looking forward to most about that book is a discussion of how to center blood sorcery and the associated stories that you can build around it. If you want to focus on that as a theme and what it means for vampires, for the kindred, for the undead, that's very, very exciting to me. Not just new powers, of course, and new disciplines and rituals, but what does this mean for vampires who exist in a world where blood sorcery is real and becomes the focal point of their night-to-night existence? That seems really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with Thin Blood Alchemy being a relatively new addition to the world, there's a lot of stuff that is changing and in flux that people don't really know that much about. It's a very exciting time to be a vampire.
An exciting time to be a vampire. I don't know if that's good or bad, actually.
I know. I'm not sure if there's ever an exciting time, like not an exciting time to be a
We'll
vampire.
find out. Oh, our friendly Renegade Game Studios person in chat lets us know that Blood Sigils is coming in Q4 of this year.
Great, thanks.
Somebody asks in the chat, will there be Axis and allies? I'm like, isn't that the Camarilla in the Anarch movement already? I'm not sure.
Oh, I think they're asking about an Axis and allies in this stream, or perhaps a weird vampire version. I don't think we can do that.
That sounds like something that the Bra would do.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, okay, so we've got the Vampire the Masquerade Player's Guide, we've got Blood Sigils. Anything else we can look forward to?
Yeah, we just releasing a couple days ago was Hunter Lines Drawn in Blood. This one is four separate stories. You can kind of link them together to play through an entire short Hunter Chronicle if you like. Very excited for that one here.
Now, the scenarios are also effective as standalones too, right?
Oh, yes, you can totally change their locations. You can adapt them for your own sort of chronicle, or you can just run it as sort of a one shot or a couple sessions as sort of a palate cleanser when you're taking a break from Vampire.
Got it. Now, some of these books were mentioned in a previous Renegade Con in March, and I think you did a deep dive on some of them there. Is that right?
Yeah, everyone should be able to just search our YouTube video to find me awkwardly talking about them.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Let's see here. What should we talk about next? I think we should probably talk about what's coming up for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition role-playing game that we haven't gotten into too deeply yet. And the first thing I think we should probably talk about is Blood-Stained Love. Now, that's a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition supplement that's currently in development and that we'll be releasing at a point in the future. But Kevin, you've been working on this book with writers and artists for some months now. Can you tell us something about what we're going to see in this book?
Yeah, I think this is sort of our first time discussing this book.
I think that this might be an exclusive.
It could be a reveal. This one is really for storytellers and players alike, everyone in your troupe. We want to give you some of the tools and techniques and advice that you need to bring some romance to the undead. If you're a fan of some sort of paranormal romance type stories, you're gonna like what's in this book.
I mean, who is not?
Right? It's hard not to be. If you aren't a fan, though, this book is still kind of useful because you can take some of the ideas and notions and in the idea of dialing it down instead of dialing it up. So you can really find something that's comfortable for everyone.
So in other words, if we think of romance as one of many themes among many in Vampire the Masquerade, this book focuses on romance as a theme and tells us how to accelerate it, increase it, or decrease it as the table prefers. Is that right?
Exactly. You're sort of able to calibrate that to what you want. Additionally, we have a number of some sample characters. We got some he's and she's and singular theys and plural theys that you can include in your tales of romance. If you want storyteller characters that are sort of romanceable, you could adapt these to be your own player characters if that's something you want to do. We have some different story concepts that can help maximize some of that romance potential. And because it's the world of darkness, you know, there's probably going to be a bit of a tragic element to a lot of these. And you can also think of the entire lifeline of the romance that, like one of my favorites is a group that specifically deals with kindred after a romance has ended.
Well, I think that doomed romance, romance gone bad, and troubled romance are all really popular themes in Vampire the Masquerade and have been for a long time. So I think it's great that the book is going to support all these different ideas around what it might mean for vampires to experience love or what they think of as love.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about rules? Are there mechanics? Are there new systems in the book as well?
Yeah, we have a handful of merits and flaws and another handful of discipline powers. When I say powers, there might be an oblivion ceremony and a blood sorcery ritual.
Related to romance, right? Really?
Yes, yeah. Actually,
nothing could possibly go wrong there.
I think the blood sorcery ritual is actually first going to appear in Blood Sigils, but it was just so good that we have to make sure that romance fans get it, even if they don't pick up that book.
Mm-hmm. I think that are there play techniques included?
Yes. So one of the things that we wanted to make sure we talk about here is that sometimes play doesn't entirely happen right there at the table, virtual or in person, whatever your preference is, or whatever you can manage to get your friends to do. So we've got a couple sections dealing with specifically how you might be able to include people who aren't currently at your table, or if it's in your comfort zone, being able to play out those stories of romance kind of away from the table, away from the spotlight, where you can actually delve into things and be comfortable. For example, with the type of TikTok videos or by old-timey love letters to your paramour.
Love letters, physical, real, genuine words on paper?
You could definitely write them by hand if you want to. I imagine most people will type them, but there's definitely it would be a lot of fun to start your game off by distributing some love letters that folks have written, possibly with some ridiculous wax seals or fancy envelopes and perfume.
I think that sounds fantastic. I'm thinking ahead to a couple of by night streaming scenarios that I have in mind now, and wondering if I have to incorporate some of these things into those stories. You raised a good point earlier about boundaries in play at the table, people participating in game at the table and off the table. It makes me think that establishing boundaries and using safety tools at the table is critically important to everyone's comfort, everyone's safety, and everyone's respect. So how does this book help storytellers and players maintain that safety if they're telling stories around romance, which can be very intense emotionally?
Mm-hmm. So I think we are sort of following some important trends in tabletop role-playing games that we've seen emerge in the past few years. Ages ago, when I was playing some games, I remember times where people would try to incorporate things like romance into a game and just sort of be shot down. But they also might feel like you get mixed signals as a storyteller or a game master in another system is sort of dwelling on the attractiveness of certain other characters in the story, or it's okay if it's in your background, but we're not going to really use it at the table. So we are spending quite a few pages. Ballpark is probably a solid 8 to 10 on the sort of ancillary advice for safety and consent to really help each troop dial down to what they're comfortable with at the table. I know fans of romance in general and paranormal romance specifically probably have a good idea of what sorts of things are discussed in these stories. And sometimes they're kind of a little weird. And we didn't shy away from some of those topics. We cut a few things because the mechanics weren't working out, but not because we thought that the topic was too rough to discuss in a romance book. So if you just sort of add that little filter of tragedy to your paranormal romance, you'll get some interesting World of Darkness romance stories out of this one.
Not everybody wants to pursue a romance. Sometimes they want to hinder it for others.
Yeah.
Is that part of the offering in the book as well?
Yeah, exactly that. Sometimes the romance portion itself is a bit in the background, and it's those like the after effects of the romance or the romance plots that you're comfortable with at your table don't necessarily involve your characters. And that's fine if that's how people like it. And you can sort of help or hinder those romances that other characters might have to add these elements to your story, even if they might not be the main focus. It's sort of a way that players can take this book to a storyteller and say, I would like this theme in my game. I'm wondering if what we can do to add some of this in here.
I think that's a great point. Even though there's a book that's detailing these themes, and these might include new merits and flaws and powers and story ideas, it's super important to maintain that level of communication at the table between the player and the storytellers, and not to skip these conversations in the session zero that precedes the first game, so that if the player wants to incorporate some of these ideas into their character or into the story, that conversation happens in a way that makes everyone feel comfortable and safe and ensures considerate play. So I'm super happy to hear that that's in the book.
Yeah. There's even a few places where I wanted to make sure we had some very concrete things for folks to think about. So it's easy to say you should have a discussion about this stuff, but sometimes it's hard to imagine what that discussion might look like. So we have some sections that kind of walk you through one example of what you might do, and some things you might think about too, that the romance that you want in your story might differ if you're playing with your friends at a cabin alone in the woods versus at a convention or on a live stream.
Okay, I see in the chat here many questions. What about rules? You mentioned that there might be some new mechanics associated with romance in the book. Are Are you ready to now? Full disclosure, you and I have both seen what's in the book, so I'm asking you a leading question here.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to give a sneak peek of something that we both know is in the book already?
I've got a couple sneak peeks. I've got a merit and a discipline power.
Okay.
Merit. We're calling it Up All Night. And this is a merit that lets you treat your humanity rating as 1 or possibly 2 dots higher, but only for romance purposes, which might include sex in the book. But that allows players to actually explore those high levels of humanity, whether or not it's a really sort of a romance story. And it lets you prolong your, if you're into playing that sort of downward spiral, it lets you prolong that a little bit so that you can still experience some of those stories even as your humanity begins to plummet.
I mean, that's pretty interesting for characters who are watching their humanity disintegrate, erode right before their eyes, but still want to maintain that tenuous connection to romantic love that they remember as an echo of an emotion from their living days, and carry that into their undead nights. So that's pretty intriguing. You know, what could possibly go wrong with that?
Right? Nothing at all.
What about discipline powers?
Yeah, presence is probably the thing that folks will think about in terms of
Sure.
romance powers. So the one we managed to slide in here, it kind of went through a few different forms, but we're calling it Wingman, and it lets you apply your presence powers to nearby characters. So just sort of project that awe onto your friend, or maybe something a little more sinister.
So the potential for use and misuse among vampires is very real, which ties back, of course, again to the consent and safety conversation before. I really can't wait for this book and to start incorporating into the stories that I'm telling. When can we have it? When can we get our hands on this?
I am expecting a Q4 release for this one, and I think pre-orders just opened up now.
Just like immediately today?
Like right now.
This very
right
second?
Now.
Wow.
This
Fast.
Possibly a few minutes ago.
Well, romance waits for no kindred, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. I am intrigued and excited for this one. Let's go forward now and talk about a book that has been unavailable easily for a little while, but is now returning to our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition tabletop universe, and that's the Fall of London Chronicle. And for those who might be unaware of this book, or what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, Fall of London is a chronicle. So it's a whole story set in about 2012 that explores some of the events that led to the destruction of the city. So yeah, go ahead.
What we all remember is that around 2012 or so, the Second Inquisition were agents of various organizations that the kindred call the Second Inquisition, effectively declared war on the kindred of London. And they were surprisingly successful at murdering kindred, not just neonates and careless thin bloods, but elders too.
Yeah. So in this story, you are portraying a group of members from servants or cultists, perhaps, of Mithras, who was the prince in London, was because he seems to be dead now.
He had it coming.
Yeah. So you're sort of awakened during this turmoil and tumultuous period to retrieve some ancient relics from this ancient kindred ruler.
Okay. So, the Fall of London has been available in print digitally, print and digitally for a little while now. Anything changed? Anything new and different?
I don't think there's anything really new and different. We've given it another pass from our cultural and copy editors. If we did make a major change to a section, we'd probably almost certainly, we'd make it available for free online. I don't think there's really a reason, if you're interested in playing through this chronicle and you can find it right now, I don't think you need to wait for this new version.
Okay, terrific. So for people who really want to complete their Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition book collections, this is available to them again very soon. This is great.
Yeah, I think we should be having a pre-order in August, it looks like. Or sorry, the pre-order should be now, and the release should be in August.
Wow, there's a lot of books coming up late this year. This is terrific. All right. I believe that ends the list of things I wanted to ask you about for Vampire. I want to ask you next about Hunter the Reckoning, but before we move on to Hunter, I think we're going to do a giveaway. Is that right?
Yeah. Jordan says we have to do a giveaway.
So what we're asking chat to do is post in the chat what you're most looking forward to from Bloodstained Love to get the chance to win a free early copy, one of the first copies in the world. Just post in the chat what you're most looking forward to about Bloodstained Love, and our moderators will use their moderator discipline powers to pin a comment and reveal a winner. You may begin at your convenience. Oh, wow, they're beginning right now. Wow, that was fast. Yep. Okay.
They're usually pretty fast on that.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. At least 2 dots in celerity, possibly more. Gangrel style. Okay, blood. Okay. Different roles and lores. Wingman. I want my undead heart to beat again. I can be of no assistance to you in this matter, unfortunately. New presence powers. Oblivion ceremonies. Weird but cool. The NPCs. Different types of loves in different circumstances. That's cool. Ooh, tragedy. We do like tragedy. Lore sheets. And the winner is Jeff Harrison, using the discipline Wingman, which, as we recall from Kevin's reveal earlier, is using the power to extend your presence to your allies. And that could be fantastic or absolutely catastrophic, depending on the situation.
Definitely. And so, Jeff, you're going to get one of the first copies outside the factory.
Congratulations, Jeff.
I have the honor of getting the very first copy because I need to make sure that they didn't mess anything up. And then once I have that, then we'll have to send one your way.
Fantastic. Jeff says, wicked. Jeff, are you from New England? What is this?
I hope so.
Is this a Scorsese thing? What's going on here? Congratulations, Jeff. All right. So, with our giveaway completed, I'm free to ask you about Hunter the Reckoning. Is that right?
That is true. You can move on.
In that case, I'm going to start with a book, and I want to make sure I get the title right. Is it Alma Mater or Alma Maters, plural?
Oh, I think it's Alma Maters, plural.
Interesting. So multiple different mothers from the Latin phrasing. Well, what are we going to see as players and storytellers in the book?
Yeah, this one is really focused on academia. So you might just think that it's home to some information that can help keep your hunter cell alive. But it's also home to quarries that might want the hunters dead in the world of darkness here. So we have, there should be 1, 2, 4 large detailed academic institutions with, sort of a whole chronicle's worth of problems that you can add to your chronicle or build something around. These are spread across the whole world of darkness. You don't expect everything is just sort of in North America or maybe Europe.
Fantastic.
But we wrote them so that they should be adaptable to your setting. You might have a little difficulty if your town doesn't have 500 years of history. So you might need to adjust some things a little bit for 1 or 2 institutions. But if you want to relocate these institutions to your hometown, you should be pretty good doing that. So we've also got some locations and antagonist groups that could find their homes in any institution, whether they're also at one of these sample institutions or just your local university or college. And we've got a few player options that are going to tie Hunter the Reckoning itself to the world of academia, really sort of leaning into that knowledge is a powerful weapon against the darkness aspect.
I think it's a really terrific concept for Chronicles, right? Because I mean, uh, the the phrase alma mater in Latin, of course, means other mother, and of course that phrase has been around for a very long time to discuss important educational experiences in our lives. And I can imagine a lot of different types of chronicles centered around various academic institutions, because let's face it, there's not just four-year colleges and
Mhm.
universities. There are trade schools, there are vocational schools, there are specific programs that are run as extensions in different universities. There are mobile programs, there are online universities today, right? So any kind of academic setting could be the catalyst for a Hunter the Reckoning Chronicle, because of course the monsters are everywhere and they're real. So how does the academic setting affect the Hunter the Reckoning Chronicle? It's not a fair question,
Oh,
but I'm going to ask you to
I
answer
know.
anyway.
Um, it's really sort of we wanted to showcase that everything in Hunter isn't necessarily about using violence to solve your problems. A lot of your uh, a lot of this is going to deal with investigation, and universities have a lot of resources that aren't just a pile of books, right? A university isn't just a library. You might have to deal with cranky, ornery, overworked professors or grad students. You might simply be the type of people who happen to be on campus as a clerical worker, uh, or a student, not necessarily even overly invested in the academic experience itself.
Oh, sure.
But
Universities are small cities. They include
yeah,
huge numbers of support teams. There are people who work in the food services, in the groundskeeping, in the security, in IT, who aren't necessarily associated with teaching in the classroom, and yet they're all part of this academic community. They're all vital parts of it. So your
mhm.
stories could incorporate any of these people, not to mention the businesses and parts of the community that depend on the university at its center for their livelihoods.
Yeah. And so the whole book is really, we've got a lot of advice for investigating your quarries using the full spectrum of resources found at a university, right? Not just some sample locations and a couple full-on institutions with quarries at them, but those sorts of guidelines for using your skills and doing the investigation. And of course, the one wonderful thing about using a university as a setting is that a lot of groups might have actually met at the same institution, or
Sure.
you can just use your local institution as a good example, like just set your chronicle there and see what happens in the World of Darkness version of your own alma mater.
When are we going to get a chance to see this book, do you think?
I am expecting it Q4 this year, and the
Q4 again?
pre-orders should be opening also right now.
Okay, so this is our second reveal, our third reveal?
Second one, I
Second
think.
reveal. Okay. I think we might have another one before we're done, but let's find out. I want to move on to something else next, but before we do, I think we're going to have another giveaway. So
Oh yeah.
chat. Let's see here. Before we move on, post in the chat what you're most looking forward to from Hunter the Reckoning Alma Maters, and you can win a free copy. Again, one of the first copies in the world. Post it right now in chat, and our moderators will do the rest. Professor Strauss, okay, interesting idea. Those red glasses had to have their origin somewhere. Why not a university? So if you're in the chat right now, tell us what you're most looking forward to. The Dark Academia Chronicles. Ooh, dripping with aesthetic. Yes, of course. The Ivy League of Darkness. Ooh, my. University resources available to hunters. The gymnasium probably has a lot of equipment that you could use to kill a werewolf. The sorority of ghouls, letter jackets. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Fantastic. University campaigns, new technology. Yeah, because of course those research labs at universities could yield some pretty interesting stuff to go
Nothing
after
dangerous,
those.
I'm sure, at all.
We have a winner. The all-knowing Renegade Game Studios chat monitors have given us a winner, and that is Mateus Viegas. Finally getting that degree without having to sell my soul. Seems like a bargain, really, when you think about it.
Maybe.
Congratulations, Mateus. So you've won a free advanced copy of Hunter the Reckoning Alma Maters. I'm kind of envious.
You'll probably get a copy too, Jason.
I mean, eventually, yeah, but still,
Yeah.
Mateus is probably going to get his first, right? So
He should get his first. Yeah.
I agree with you. I think he should absolutely get his first. Mateus, I might have to come borrow your copy. That's cool, right? Okay, cool.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
Excellent. So let's go on then to Vampire the Masquerade Rivals, one of my favorite card games. Kevin, can you tell us a little bit about what is happening in the world of Rivals, my favorite vampire card game?
Yeah. Let me be quick here so that we can get to the last bit of content that I'm sure some fans are eager about. Well, I'm not seeing it in chat now, so something anywhere we'll talk for a little bit.
All right.
With Vampire the Masquerade Rivals, we announced the Hunters and the Hunted in March. So this is a whole new core set for Rivals. You can go back and check out that stream if you want some more information. Our stream from March, and this one should release in August. We also are going to have a Renegade exclusive coming up, the Vampire Royalty Pack. This is going to be a pack of 23 foil Prince of the City winner cards, the ones where the winners of certain events get their likeness turned into that of a vampire and become cards in the game. We also have some Prince of the City tournament events. A couple of recent ones took place at GameX in LA, UK Game Expo in Birmingham. But we've got some upcoming ones here. Looks like Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio, in the US, June 23rd. July 2nd, Good Games Chatswood, which is in Sydney, Australia. And later in July on the 29th, Southern Fried Gaming Expo in Atlanta, Georgia, also in the US. But we do have some other exciting news, which is Trevor McGregor has joined our Renegade team as a new Rivals organized play manager. So you should, if you're not in our Discord channel, and you should join that to stay up to date on some upcoming tournaments. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of new news for that coming soon.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Kevin. Let's do one more giveaway.
One more.
We move
Okay.
on to Werewolf The Apocalypse. Chat, please post what you're most looking forward to from Vampire the Masquerade Rivals Hunters and the Hunted and win a free copy. Go. Oop, they're going. Okay. Again.
Watching here. Oh, nice.
Origins Prince of Vitae. Okay. Trevor is awesome.
I mean, that's just objectively true,
I mean,
I think.
that goes without saying, but yeah, Gambit Discipline Powers. Okay. New city deck. I'm seeing, yeah, a lot of Gambit Discipline Powers. The Ministry. Magic the Darkening? I don't think so. That seems like something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crossover play. The Faith in the Cards. Hunter Factions. Daylight Pizza Delivery. A tried and true tactic. Always effective. The new
That was a lot. Scrolling fast.
Blood Hunt for a Prince. Hunt or Be Hunted. Foil cards. What? No. New antagonists. Item card Dustbuster. I mean, I can see it. And the powers that be at Renegade Game Studios have declared a winner, and it's rye bread.
Nice.
Not coincidentally, my favorite kind of bread. Foil cards. Foil cards. Congratulations, rye bread. You're going to get a copy of Hunters and the Hunted before nearly anyone else in the entire world. Well done. Congratulations. Very well then. Let us go to Werewolf The Apocalypse, 5th edition. Now, we've had a lot of exciting previews shared over the past couple of weeks. We're going to talk about more previews in just a few minutes. But before we do, Kevin, if you have your notes handy, could you recap a few of the things that we have been shared so far?
Yeah.
If you don't have your notes handy, you have to improv it.
I know it might be a little bit of both.
All right, fair enough.
So I think we've shared some information on finding a pack, right? The wolf is only as strong as their pack. So we've got some examples of what a pack looks like in the modern world. I think we've shared a few auspices. These are the sorts of things that help define your character's role in the world. So depending on which moon you have changed under, you might have some different traits or roles within the society. Did we also share some gifts and rights?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely
I think
should.
we did. All right.
Yeah.
So like the gifts being the an ability or power that your werewolf can call upon, granted by some particular spirit, and rites being the sort of sacred rituals that werewolves use in as parts of their general, like the operation of society. And everyone's going to get one of those when you make a character.
Yeah, all guru get at least one single right upon character creation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's appropriate that we show something that hasn't been seen yet, right?
Yeah. I think since
show?
folks have been have they been patient enough? Should we share
I don't know. Chat,
another auspice?
have you been patient enough? I mean, when will you rage?
I see basically right now, looks like.
I believe the rage is occurring at this very moment. So let's address that. And what do you think we should show?
I think we've got an auspice preview queued up here.
And what could that possibly be?
Oh, let's see. Did we already cover tricksters and mystics, lore keepers, and mediators?
Yeah, everybody knows what they want to see. Everybody knows what.
Yeah, everyone knows. Everyone knows. All right. So we should have the Arun for you. The Arun. I've got a delay, so I can't actually see what's up here yet. There we go. So Arun, clouds go in, blood sprays out. That's kind of their jam. These are the folks changed under the full moon. The Aruns are the warriors of Garo's society, the fighters of people who are entirely disposed to ferocious violence, often looked at for leadership in times of war, and given the belligerence of many septs, this often means until further notice. I've definitely played an Arun in the past. Can be very fun. So yeah, very much recommend.
Yeah, the Arun, of course, play a vital role in Guru society, right? Because they're changed under the full moon. They're the auspice of action. There's no hesitation, right? It's instantly springing into violence. And so in times of conflict or war, this is who you want on your side. When the conflict is past and it might be time to stand down, and yet the Arun is still raging, could be a little challenging for your pack, on the other hand. So there's good and bad here, give and take for this auspice, like they are for every other phase of the moon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and are we seeing this now, or is the preview up?
Yeah, it looks like it.
I love this tagline: claws go in, blood sprays out. And that is the most Arun thing ever.
Indeed, it's a fun play, and it's a lot of violence, but it's not only violence. It doesn't have to be.
Well,
Kind of
whether
has
you're
to
going to
be
play
a little
with
bit.
violence or not, you're going to want some dice. Do we have werewolf dice?
We do have werewolf dice. These are the sort of fancy, easy to use, math-free dice. It does sound a little silly, but I know having played Vampire with sort of trying to use sort of normal 1 to 10 dice, um, the ones with the symbols are just a lot easier and quicker at the table.
It's a lot
So
faster, I think, when you see
yeah,
the symbols rolling. It's very intuitive. Play moves along a little bit more quicker. I've done both, but I prefer the dice with the symbols.
yeah, for sure. And in addition to the dice, so there should be about 12 of the normal dice, 5 dice, the special rage dice in Werewolf. We also included a set of form cards because I know I've played some Werewolf games in the past where there's a couple questions like, hang on, which form were you actually in? You said now you're saying you're in lupus form, but you were in a Krynos like 30 seconds ago. When did you tell me you changed? This is just a nice, quick little play aid if you're at the physical table to set it down right there so everyone can see what forms people are in as needed.
That's really super helpful as a storyteller too. That helps me. If I can look around the table and see what form everyone is in using the cards, that makes things a little bit faster, kind of a mental shorthand that keeps the story moving forward. So I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought it'd be really helpful at the table for many folks, and I'm glad we're able to include that in the dice pack.
Okay. All right. Everybody's asking for more werewolf information in the chat. So we wanted to do something special for everyone. And what we're going to do is give you a brief rundown of the character creation process for Werewolf the Apocalypse. Now, it isn't a full end-to-end character creation. That would take much longer than we have to share with you today. But we are going to look at a character sheet and talk a little bit about the basics of building a character. You will, of course, see more information about this later. But for now, this should answer some of the most burning questions that you have about Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition. Kevin, are you ready to show the character sheet?
Yeah, I hope we're looking at the front of the character sheet
All
now.
right, here we go.
So this is where you're going to see all the sort of information you expect, your character's attributes, your skills, your renown is very important as a werewolf. Also, there's room for gifts and rights so that you can enter those things. On the back of the character sheet, um, we should have, once art shows up, you're going to have spots for some of the things you would also expect to see if you've played the recent versions of Vampire Hunter, some Chronicle tenets, some touchstones, because werewolves are still part human and they need ties to the human world. Places for your favors and ban, advantages and flaws, as well as your character's appearance and history. And we've also got on there the sort of quick reference for the 5 different forms that you would expect that Gyro might be able to turn into, from human to wolf, and a couple intermediate versions.
Super helpful. I love that side chart. That's really a fantastic piece of design that really merges form and function really well.
Yeah. And then I think we can take a look at what a character sheet might sort of look like filled in and
Okay, yeah,
give
I think we've
folks,
got one here.
yeah, idea of how we're going to fill those docs in.
Okay, take us, do you have time to walk us through it?
Yeah, just sort of super quick here. Let's see. So they're going to have your attributes. Or sorry, let's start at the top. You're going to have your concept, your auspice, your tribe, um, all of these things that sort of make your character you.
Right.
Um, then we've got the attributes. You're going to have your physical, social, mental. These are the same attributes that you're familiar with from Vampire and Hunter. And we're going to use the same method of filling those in. So one of them starts with 4. There's going to be 3 that should start at 3s if we didn't make any mistakes here. Looks like we're good. 4 2s
Okay.
and 1 1. And then there's some boxes to record your health, which is 3 plus your stamina, and your willpower. If you're a fan of Hunter or Vampire, again, Composure and Resolve is going to land you at that number for willpower. There's a couple different spreads that you can choose for the skills. In this example, Samantha has she has the balanced spread, I think.
Yeah, Samantha has the balanced.
Yeah, okay. So there should be 3 threes, 5 at 2, and 7 at 1. And that's going to get you a nice spread of skills for your newly changed werewolf.
Okay, so far at least, it's fair to say that if you're familiar with character creation for Vampire the Masquerade or Hunter the Reckoning or you're going to be familiar with the basics of Guru character creation.
Yeah,
a lot of similar concepts, but applied uniquely to the werewolf.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So one of the new things you're going to see is the renown. Werewolves tend to be measured in glory, honor, and wisdom. In this case, Samantha, being a member of the Black Furies tribe, is going to have 2 dots in glory. That is what the Black Furies start with. And then she's going to choose to put 1 dot into honor or wisdom. And in this case, she's chosen honor.
Okay. What about gifts? I mean, show that.
Yeah. So at the bottom, you should see the couple gifts there. There's 3 gifts and 1 right. So Samantha has 1 gift. There's a set of native gifts, which any werewolf can choose. There's a set of gifts that come from the auspice. So in this case, as a Galliard, Samantha has, pretty sure that's the Howl of Assembly. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Choosing one of the Galliard gifts, and you do have an option. It's not that every Galliard starts with the same gift. And then 1 specific tribe gift. So in this case, it looks like Curse of Aeolus.
Curse of Aeolus, the god of the winds.
Difficult one to read on a live stream when you embarrass yourself and can't pronounce it.
So that's the one that creates the fog cloud that obscures easy vision, right? Making it difficult for enemies to hit you with whatever weapon that they're using, I think.
Yeah. Then as you kind of glance over at the reverse of the character sheet, you'll see that we've got touchstones here, where we'll still end up choosing 1 to 3 different touchstones. These are the sort of human, possibly wolf, characters that kind of keep you grounded in this world and can help them mitigate some of their monstrous impulses.
Right.
So not only do touchstones have sort of a minor mechanical benefit, but they show up on your character's relationship map, and these types of connections are great for creating some very juicy scenes and conflicts in your games.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's super important, right? Because many Guru need that reminder of what they're fighting for and why they're fighting, or maybe what they're not fighting for. And the touchstones fulfill that very dramatically narrative need to keep grounded, as you said, in the human world, even though they have 1 foot or paw in the spirit world as well.
Yeah. So there you go. That's kind of a quick rundown on character creation. We didn't mention everything on the sheet, but folks probably saw some.
I mean, it wasn't a full character creation process, but at least we got a look at what a full sheet would look like, and we can make some educated guesses about how we got there, which is fantastic, and it hasn't been seen before either.
Yeah.
So we all know that we're striving mightily to get the physical copies to pre-order purchasers at Gen Con in August. What about our PDF customers?
We're pretty excited to say we are planning to have those released on August 2nd. Which is when our early pre-order folk can pick up their copies at Gen Con. So you should be able to get your PDF on August 2nd.
August 2nd.
August 2nd. It's gonna take a little bit of time to read through that book, but you'll be able to get your new game started up right away.
I think that we should celebrate and do one more giveaway. What do you think?
Yeah, we can probably
Yeah.
do one more giveaway.
Okay. Renegade, we'd like to ask our audience to post in the chat what tribe they're choosing for their first Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition game at their table. And we're going to pick someone to win a free early copy of Werewolf 5th edition. What tribe are you going to play at your table first? Go.
Waiting
Oh,
to see
here
all
we
these
go.
responses. Here it comes.
Shadow Lord. Okay, my personal favorite. Can I say
Oh,
Glasswalker?
I've been accused of being a Shadow Lord. I don't know why.
Solidarity.
I guess
Glasswalkers.
it's
Ghost
just a good tribe.
Council. Silver Fangs. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Way too fast.
Yeah.
Celerity activated. 5 dots of celerity happening right now.
Seen a lot of sound. No, Heart Wardens, Black Furies, Shadow Lords,
Glasswalkers. More
Red
Shadow
Talons.
Lords. And we have a winner. Renegade Game Studios, thank you very much. You've let us know that the winner is Emmy12191 with the choice of Glasswalker. Nice choice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Emmy12191. You have won yourself an early copy of Werewolf The Apocalypse 5th edition. Again, I'm a little envious. I may have to come borrow that. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Emmy. All right. So this brings us nearly to the end of our stream of darkness. Kevin, is there anything you want to let our audience today know before we say farewell?
Yeah, I've got just a few announcements here. Want to let folks know if you are pre-ordering Werewolf the Apocalypse and attending Gen Con, you can use the code GenCon Pickup 2023 at checkout in order to get your copy to Gen Con available for pickup. Should be available August 2nd pickup at Gen Con, and I think it's going to take another couple weeks to filter out to your local game stores. You can visit our Gen Con pickup page to learn about some other games that you can also pick up at the show. And I think we have a deadline coming up in a couple weeks here. I'm early July at the latest because we got to get everything on packed up and sent to Gen Con. So there is a deadline for that. Don't delay too much. Continuing with Gen Con, we have a variety of events there. They are ticketed events for RPGs and rivals with World of Darkness games. You should go ahead and watch our March Renegade Con stream for a whole bunch of details on what's happening at Gen Con. And yeah, the pickups are not just Werewolf or World of Darkness, but some other items as well. A lot of those pre-September releases can be picked up at Gen Con. We have a non-Gen Con announcement. If you're interested in trying Vampire Hunter role-playing games, or if you're already a fan and just want a chance to play one of them, we have a special event with startplaying.games. It's coming up in about 2 weeks here, June 22nd to the 25th. You can sign up and try one of these games out, or have a little more fun playing the game you already know and love. We should have a link posted or posting in chat right now.
That's super helpful. So if you have a friend or an associate or a colleague who has always wanted to learn how to play Vampire Hunter but hasn't had the time, hasn't had the opportunity, signing up to play an introductory game tailored just for new players is pretty cool. Startingplaying.games is the place to go. Is that right?
Yeah, startplaying.games.
That's awesome. I have a few people who've wanted to play it. I don't have time to do it, so I'm going to send them over.
I know. So especially, yeah, if you know people who want to give it a try, haven't been able to find a group, you just don't have time to get them started at your own own table because sometimes the table's only got so many seats. All of these items that we mentioned earlier today, the pre-orders for those should be live now. So
Great.
go ahead and put some pre-orders in if you want them. And then our next Renegade Con should be coming up in October.
October? Why October?
Yeah, it's it's kind of a spooky month. So it is gonna be timed alongside our Month of Darkness celebration. So stay tuned in our various social media channels for more information on what's coming up.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kevin. And thank you, everybody who decided to spend this last hour with us. We're glad you were here. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you learned something new, something that excited you about the world of darkness and what's happening for it. Remember to follow us on social media. And if you have questions, queries, comments, join one of our official Discords or send us a question on one of our social media channels, and we'll do our best to answer it. Kevin, anything else we should know before we go?
No, I think that's it. We appreciate everyone watching, staying with us to the end. Jason, it's been great chatting with you, and I'm sure we'll talk more later.
It's been good to talk to you too, Kevin. I'm looking forward to doing it again in the Month of Darkness.